The village of Vaishrath is peaceful, surrounded by lush fields and sacred rivers. The people are joyous, celebrating the festival of lights in honor of their gods. But among them is a boy, Kayan, different from the rest, born with a mysterious golden mark on his palm, a mark no elder can explain. The village priest, Rishi Vedan, watches Kayan closely, his eyes filled with worry. That night, as the boy sleeps, a storm unlike any before strikes the village. Lightning flashes, and the temple bell rings on its own. The priest rushes to the temple, where an ancient prophecy carved into stone begins to glow for the first time in centuries. The villagers gather as Vedan translates the glowing text. When the marked child turns 16, the ruler's wrath shall be unleashed. Only the chosen shall stand between light and darkness. Just then, distant war horns sound from the royal capital. The king's army is marching toward the village. The village of Vaishrath wakes to an eerie silence. Night storm has left behind fallen trees and flooded fields, but the real danger is yet to come. At the break of dawn, a thick mist covers the village, the air heavy with an unspoken fear. The villagers gather in silence, sensing an unknown threat. Kayan, standing beside Rishi Vedan, watches the road leading to the capital. He doesn't understand why, but he feels that everything is about to change. A sudden blast of a war horn shatters the silence, and through the mist, armored soldiers appear. Leading them is the king's messenger. The messenger raises a scroll and announces in a booming voice, "By order of king, the village of Vaishrath must surrender the marked boy before sunset or face destruction." Rishi Vedan steps forward, his voice steady but his hands trembling. There must be a mistake. The messenger does not respond, only unsheathes his sword, a silent warning. Kayan's heart races as he looks around, searching the faces of the villagers. He sees fear, confusion, and betrayal. Rishi Vedan raises his hands, trying to calm the crowd. "We cannot give him up." Vedan's voice trembles with urgency. Kayan steps forward, his hands trembling, but his gaze steady. "If my fate can save the village, then I will go." The king's messenger's eyes narrow beneath his hood. The king does not negotiate, he says, his voice cold. Before Kayan can speak, Rishi Vedan grabs his arm. "No," Vedan whispers. "You don't understand what this means." The village of Vaishrath stands divided. Kayan's willingness to sacrifice himself has shaken the villagers, but Rishi Vedan's cryptic warning hangs heavy in the air. The king's soldiers stand at attention. Kayan pulls his arm away from Rishi Vedan, his eyes dark with confusion. "What don't I understand?" he demands. Rishi Vedan closes his eyes, his face etched with sorrow. "The mark on your palm, it is not a gift, it is a curse." The king's messenger steps forward, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword. "Enough talk. Bring the boy, or the village will burn." Kayan steps forward, his palm glowing brighter as the mark pulses with light. "If I am to face my fate, I will not run," Kayan says. Suddenly, the ground trembles beneath their feet. From the mist beyond the village, dark figures begin to emerge. A terrified villager screams, "They've returned!" The crowd erupts into chaos as people scatter. Kayan's hand tightens into a fist as the glow from his palm intensifies. He steps toward the figures, his chest rising and falling with steady breaths. "Kayan, stop!" Rishi Vedan shouts, his face pale with fear. "You don't know what they are." A deep growl echoes through the mist as the figures step forward. Their faces are hidden, but the gleam of steel flashes beneath their cloaks. Kayan raises his hand, the golden light from his palm expanding outward. The lead figure steps forward, lowering his hood to reveal a scarred face and crimson eyes.